When you just started a blog, you're probably extremely excited. You've probably read all the income reports on Pinterest and you've seen how much bloggers can make from just running their blog. But then you realize a few months after starting your own blog, it's just not growing. You're putting out posts that no one is reading, and Google Analytics is showing a big fat 0 for your page views. And you're definitely not making the money that you saw others make. It's frustrating. So what is it you're doing wrong? There's a lot that goes into blogging, and it's definitely no easy task, but let's talk about the top 7 reasons why your blog isn't growing. And number 1 is you aren't publishing consistently. This could be one of the main reasons why your blog isn't growing, because in order to grow, you need to publish consistently. It seems pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people might not realize that that's what they're doing, because I know for me, when I first started, I thought I was doing everything that I could to grow my blog. But now, looking back years later, I realized I was just so lost in the sauce of starting a blog and trying to learn everything and do all the things all at once that I wasn't actually publishing that consistently. So it's easy to actually get lost in everything you're doing and not publish consistently, or you stop seeing results, so then you stop publishing, and then you're like, well, I'm definitely not seeing results now. Why not? And it's because you're not publishing consistently. And that is not going to get you very far. So what should you do instead? You need to come up with a schedule and stick to it. This is something that's going to take some discipline to do, but honestly, if you don't have discipline in this business to be able to work for yourself, because that's essentially what you're doing, there's nobody telling you what to do or how to do it, you're going to need discipline. So if you don't have that, you're probably not going to get very far. But one of the mistakes that I see new bloggers making is they will go super hard for a month because they are really excited to start and they'll want to post every day for a month, and then they will fall off the next month, or maybe they'll fall off even a couple weeks in, just because of how difficult it is to get out a post every single day, 5 times a week, whatever your original schedule might be. I see a lot of bloggers making that mistake because they get so excited and they just want to put out a lot of content. But the other thing with that is not only are you going to burn yourself out, because I definitely did that. I would post 3 times a week and I would get burned out, and I would stop working for a little bit to recover from that burnout, and that wasn't really helping. And looking back in the post, they weren't that good either. And that's the other problem with posting a bunch, is if you're posting all of the time and you're trying to really crank out blog posts, chances are they're not going to be very high quality because of how long it takes to actually write a good quality blog post. And that's not really the correct way to run a business. You want to put out less blog posts or less content if you can make it a higher quality. That's going to do better for you in the long run, I promise. And you're going to need to find a balance between consistency and quality, because you want to be consistent, but you want to make sure that you can be consistent at a rate where the quality of the blog post is still there. Because putting out 1 blog post a week is better than putting out 3 crappy blog posts that no one clicks on, no one wants to read, and it doesn't rank on Google. The second reason why your blog isn't growing is because you're working on the wrong things. It's a surprisingly easy thing to do. When you sit down to work on your blog, there is no manual for what you should be doing first. There is no checklist. You're basically just figuring everything out on your own. So it's easy to then work on the wrong things. You're kind of just guessing. But you need to be working on things that are actually going to move your business forward versus things that just make you feel like you're working on your blog. This is something that I did for a long time. I would work on things that made me feel like I was working, like updating my brand colors, updating my social media bios, fixing random things on my site. Those things are useful, yes, but they were never going to make me any money. They weren't going to grow my blog, and they weren't going to push my business forward and move the needle in any way, versus things that I knew I should have been doing, like putting out a new blog post, putting out a new video, promoting on social media, or creating new products, things that are actually going to move my business forward. And those are the things that you need to focus on over, do I want this brand color or this brand color? And sometimes you're doing this because you just don't know what you should be working on, but other times you know what you should be working on, but you're just procrastinating because these things are easier to do than the hard work of actually writing a new blog post. But since this blogging thing doesn't come with a manual, it can be hard to figure out what actually should I be doing. And if you find yourself stuck on what the heck am I even doing? What am I doing? What are my goals? I don't know what to do. Maybe you need to hire out a little bit of extra help. And if that sounds like you and you're interested in some coaching, I do have coaching for brand new bloggers and also bloggers that have been working for a while, but they don't know how to get their blog growing. I have a blog Kickstarter coaching service, which is a one-on-one Zoom call with me for 45 minutes where you get to ask me any questions that you have. We can talk about your brand and your blog and who you're trying to help and reach, and we can give you basically a step-by-step plan for what it is you need to do to start growing your blog. So if you're interested in coaching, check out my blog Kickstarter coaching package down below in the description. But if you want to get started right away, give yourself a little bit of a work audit and ask yourself these questions. What will you get out of doing this task? You can ask yourself, is this content creation that will grow my business? A blog post, a video, whatever. Is this task that I'm doing promoting my business in any way? Or does this have the potential to make me money in the future? If the answer is no, ask yourself why you're doing it. And some of these things you are going to need to do, like you do need to figure out your brand colors, but maybe it doesn't require as much time as you are planning on giving it, or it doesn't need to be tweaked as much, because like I would go back and tweak my about page once a month. It doesn't really need to be done that often. Spend that time doing something more important. So that way you can manage your time from the tasks that need to be done but aren't going to make you money versus the tasks that need to be done and are going to make you money. These ones should take priority. And managing your time is a skill that you'll learn over time. Another reason your blog might not be growing is because you have no clear goals in mind. Where do you even want to go with your blog? Do you plan on going self-hosted and making money from your blog? Or do you want to quit your full-time job? Or do you want to do this as a side hustle? Like, what are your actual goals in mind with your blog? And I know that's a lot to think about, but these are things that you want to have even semi-fleshed out before you start a blog, because it's important to know where the heck you're even going. And you don't want to overwhelm yourself with way too much information in the beginning, but having some sort of clear picture in your mind of your goals and where you want to go is going to help you in the long run. So what you want to do, you want to write down a few goals that you want to hit. They don't need to be anything crazy. They don't need to be huge goals, like get 10,000 page views in the first month. They should be realistic, but you want to have some sort of pathway and plan in your mind if you're going to be starting a business. But you also may want to have some bigger goals that you can hit in the future, like a certain amount of money that you want to make, or a certain brand deal that you want to get, or a certain amount of page views or followers. Something that is bigger, still tangible, but bigger, so that you have a month timeline of what you want to do, and then maybe a year or 6 month timeline so that you can figure out exactly where it is you're going. This is basically just going to give you something bigger to work towards. And if you're seriously struggling with goals that you want to create, the blog Kickstarter package is perfect for that, because we'll talk about all that in our Zoom session. And if you haven't started your blog yet, but you are looking to go self-hosted, which is definitely what I recommend. I also recommend to you guys SiteGround, which is the hosting company that I use. If you're going to be trying to make money with your blog, you want to go self-hosted versus using the free version of WordPress, because the customization options are a lot better. You can have a lot more money-making opportunities as well. And SiteGround is the hosting company that I have been using for years. I just signed on with another year for them because they're an amazing company. So I'll leave both those links down below as well. And if you feel like you're doing all of the above correctly and your blog still isn't growing, it could be because you aren't promoting your content. Unfortunately, when it comes to blogging, you can't just post a blog post and hope that the page views are going to come. It doesn't really work like that. Once you post a blog post, that is only half of the work done. Now you need to promote it. And you also need to promote it more than once. Just because you shared your blog post on Twitter the first day it came out does not mean you never get to share it again. You need to be consistently and constantly sharing your content so that people will even know that your content exists. Eventually, you can get your content ranked on Google and people will be able to come to your blog through there. But before you do that, you want to be promoting on social media. And honestly, even after your blog is ranking on Google and you're getting page views organically from search, you still want to be promoting your content everywhere, because your followers might be interested in your content and they're not going to find it on Google. Or if a blog post doesn't rank, you still have social media to fall back on. So you want to be consistently promoting your stuff all over social media. And the best way to do this is by using a social media content calendar like this one right here. This is the one that I use every single month and every single week. I will once a week share and create Pinterest pins, and I will plan them out using this content calendar. And then once a month, I will go through and share 3 tweets a day so that one platform is just done for the entire month, versus Pinterest is a little bit harder to create pins. So I do that once a week, and it's all done because of this content calendar. So if you want an easier time scheduling your stuff, I recommend this content calendar here. I have it up in my shop. And number 5 is you have no money-making strategies in place. So maybe your blog is growing in terms of page views, but it's not growing in terms of income. If you have a decent amount of page views, but you're not making any income, if that is your goal to make an income, then there is some sort of issue there on your blog. And it's likely because you don't have any strong money-making strategies in place. Once again, it's easy to get caught up in everything and thinking that you're doing everything that you can and thinking that you should be making money, when in reality, your strategies for making money just aren't there. And just in case you don't know the different ways you can make money online, let's go over them really quick. The first one is ads. This is going to be the easiest one to start with. I feel like a lot of bloggers start with this. You can sign up for Google AdSense and they will automatically put ads onto your site. However, I recommend if you want a little bit better of an ad network, you go with Azoic. That is the one that I've had for a few years, and they're a lot better than Google AdSense because they have different tiers. Originally, to sign up for Azoic, you had to have 10,000 page views in the last 30 days, I think it was, but they lowered the requirements to have different tiers instead. So if you are underneath that requirement, you can still sign up, and then you get better ad rates the more page views that you have, and you go up in the tiers. Google AdSense doesn't have anything like this, and with Azoic, you can also specifically place on your site where you want ads to show and what type of ads. So there's a lot more customization options versus with Google AdSense. You typically just have them do everything for you. So there's no real control over how many ads are shown. And ads are something that don't make a lot of money, especially if you don't have a lot of page views. They're just like good chump change, almost like pocket change. So that's why I like Ezoic, because I can control a lot more. So I recommend that. And of course, I'll leave that down below if you're interested in checking out Ezoic. But the second way that you can make money is with affiliate marketing. I'm sure you've heard of this, where you basically just put an affiliate link in your blog post to a product or a service or whatever. And if someone clicks on it and buys it, you make a commission. Of course, it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's the overall gist of it. And the next way is creating your own products or creating your own services. I obviously have done both of these as well. It's a good idea to diversify your income streams. I would try to start with one, start out with ads, get that up and running, then start out with affiliate marketing, try to get that up and running. And then later down the line, you can work on products and services, because you want to have a better audience and a better understanding of your audience before you start creating products that nobody really wants, or you create services that no one wants to sign up for. You want to know your audience better before you do these two things, but these are better than affiliate marketing in a lot of times, because you can create as many products as you want, you can have as many services as you want, and you can put them at whatever price you want, versus affiliate marketing, likely the commissions are going to be lower because the person that is selling the product wants most of the income and only wants to give you a small portion of it, versus your own products, you're going to get more of the revenue and you can price them whatever you want. So you have a lot more control. Same thing with your own services as well. You can price them however you want. And the next reason your blog might not be growing is because you don't have a set working hours or set system in place for when you work. Starting and running a successful blog is not something easy to do, and it takes discipline. So the best way to keep track of yourself and your business is to have set working hours so that you can have a bit more of a routine for when you are working on your blog. I have a few productivity techniques that I use and a morning routine that I use so that I can be as productive and manage my time as productively as possible. And you're going to have to come up with your own system. You can definitely use some recommendations from other people, but for the most part, it's just going to take time for you to get into a system of what works for you, because everyone's productivity is different. Everyone's day is going to be different. You know, maybe you have set hours where you work 40 hours a week, so you know where your hours are going to be with your main job every day, so you can figure out your blogging hours outside of that. Or maybe you have a part-time job where your hours are different, so you might have to schedule in things a little bit differently, but it's important that you have some sort of system that works for you in order to get your business to grow. And the next thing is you are trying to do everything all at once. As we've established, there's a lot of things that need to get done when you do a blog, but if you try to do every single one of those things all at the same time and learn all of the things that there is to learn, you're probably going to overwhelm yourself and you're not going to have time to implement the things that you're learning correctly. You may want to start more than one blog, or you may want to start a blog and a YouTube channel together, or you may want to post 5 times a week. And if you try to do all of that at once, something is going to fall to the wayside. I know for me, I started my blog, and a year into that, I started this YouTube channel here. And even though I knew what I was doing, and this wasn't my first blog, this wasn't my first YouTube channel, my blog still fell off for a year to 2 years while I grew my YouTube channel. Because it's just difficult to do this content creation thing. Even though I was doing it full time, it's difficult to try and manage everything all at once. So you want to focus on one thing at a time. So what should you focus on first? When it comes to your blog, I'd focus on one topic, one audience. Keep your topics small, your niche small, and don't try to start 2 blogs at once. Don't try to start 3. 1. Once you get the ball kind of rolling there, then you can branch out if you really want, but you don't ever have to. Start with the one blog, get that into a money-making thing, and then reevaluate if you want to do more. You don't even have to though. Start with the one thing, expand topics if you want, whatever you feel like doing is best for you. For making money, I would start with one thing at a time. Like I said, I would start with ads, and then I would do affiliate marketing, and then maybe your own products, and then maybe from there, you can do your own services. You don't have to do all of these things. You can do whatever's going to work for you, but that's kind of, I think, the natural progression for a lot of people. And then sponsored posts, that's another thing that can be in there somewhere as well. But get one income source up and running first before you move on to everything else. And then for social media, I would start with whatever your favorite platform is to interact on, or wherever your audience is going to be. So maybe you like Instagram the most. You can start there. Personally, if you want my advice, I would start with Pinterest is going to be the best for bloggers. There's a lot that goes into Pinterest, but that is the best place to start. If you need any help, I have a ton of videos, an entire playlist, which I'll link up here. If you want to watch any of my videos on Pinterest, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but that's definitely going to be the best place to start. And then maybe you want to move to Twitter. It's a good place to get some traffic, build up an audience. And then Instagram, that's really hard to get traffic off of Instagram. So that's more for connecting with your audience, showing the person behind the blog, creating a personal brand for yourself while you're building your business. You can post links on there. I always post when a video goes live or a blog post goes live, and some people might click, but for the most part, it's going to be difficult to get people off of the feed of Instagram and onto your blog. And what's most important to remember above all is there is no one right way to run business. If I recommended something here for you that doesn't work, don't force yourself to do it. If you hear anybody else recommend something and you try it out and it doesn't work, don't force yourself to do it. I tried that for a really long time and it did absolutely nothing for me. So feel free to try a bunch of things, but then if it doesn't work, don't force it on you and just try something different. It's okay. Everyone runs business a different way and you're still going to get where you need to go. And if you want to check out another video from me, you can check it out right here. Make sure to like if you like and subscribe to my channel down below for more videos just like this. Bye.